Hi everyone, it's Tami from the blog Nutmeg Notebook. So happy to be here with you today. We're going to do a little bit of cooking in the kitchen today. So if you're new to our channel, we have a blog as well as our YouTube channel called Nutmeg Notebook, where we teach people how to eat when following a whole food plant-based diet that is SOS free. That stands for salt, oil, and sugar. So we have already made a video all about our delicious vegan creamy Alfredo sauce, and it has become quite a hit with our subscribers. We get emails and private messages on Facebook, people telling us how much they love it. People are making it every week and putting it on everything. And in the original video and blog post, I showed you all how to use it, serving it over the zucchini noodles that you make with a spiralizer. And so today I want to show you a variation, a different way to serve it up, and a way that I really like and find to be very filling and satisfying. This is Tom, he's the
Hello,
other
everyone.
half.
I want to explain that we're kind of looking up at you today because we are going to be going to the stove, and so I actually have the camera for the moment mounted on a mobile monopod, so that we can see what Tami's cooking up over there at the stove. And then when I bring you back, when we all sit down again, then I'll put you back on your normal height so that you're not feeling like you're standing over us too much. So
There you go. I'm shrinking, but I'm not shrinking that much in height.
yeah.
I had my physical recently. I used to be 5'4", and now I'm only 5'3.5". That's kind of disappointing because, you know, that also means that my weight should be going down with that. So I might just keep saying I'm 5'4". That makes me feel better.
It helps your BMI numbers.
It helps my BMI numbers. That's right.
Okay.
No, not that they show up bad
Right.
now.
Well,
okay, so everyone can hear us, right? We did everything right because we have a little bit different
Sound check is good.
setup going on today. So anyway, if you've joined us, we're real excited that you're here. And I'm just going to step over here and start my burner real quick so that my pan can preheat a little bit here so that it'll be ready when we come over. So I already made Alfredo sauce because I like to batch cook this just like I batch cook everything else in my kitchen. And so I made this over the weekend, and you can see, I know, it's so good. It does not set up and get too thick in the refrigerator. So, I should go this way. I was doing it backwards. I was doing it for me instead of them. But you can see it's super creamy. It's delicious. It is cauliflower based. It does not have any nuts in it. So it's very low fat.
If you haven't discovered this yet, people are just going
crazy
comments,
for it.
Yeah, it really replaces anything that we used to eat.
Yeah, and a couple of the gals from our weight loss class that we just finished up our January series of weight loss classes, a couple of the gals were telling us that they love it, they make it, and they use it on everything.
They're having it on their vegetables for breakfast.
Yeah, they're putting it on their vegetables for breakfast. So if you haven't tried it, I do suggest that you try it because it's super delicious. So in the notes below, Tom is linking to the video, and we also have a blog post where you can actually print the recipe. It's a very easy printable recipe.
Yeah,
so we have that.
The video is talking about, of course, the Alfredo going on the zucchini noodles. So
but the recipe is just for the Alfredo.
So when you see noodles, that's the right place to go to get the
so
Alfredo.
Today what we're going to do is we are going to make a mushroom broccoli base with some onion that's going to go inside the russet potato that I just baked. These just came out of the oven. And then we're going to slather that with the Alfredo sauce and a little bit of fresh basil. And I just want to show you how to saute the onion and the mushrooms and without any oil. It's super easy. And then I'll just toss the broccoli in, put the lid on, and let the steam and the warmth that's already created in that pot, I will let it cook my broccoli. So super easy. I mean, some nights I'll get home like at 6 o'clock or 6:30, and I will just whip this up for my dinner because I will already have the Alfredo sauce ready to go in the refrigerator. So tonight I'm not going to heat this up in the microwave before I put it on the potato because we're not actually going to stay here for dinner tonight. We're going to a lecture at a local vegan restaurant, and so we're going to be eating there. But what I would normally do is I would just take out however much I want for my potato, and I would put it in a microwave safe glass dish, and I would put it in the microwave and just heat it up for like a minute or maybe a minute and 30 seconds, depending on how much I have. And it heats up beautifully. If you don't use a microwave, then you could just put it in a saucepan on top of the stove and you could heat it up that way because it does not separate. It does not get weird when you reheat it. It works perfect. Yes?
Okay, so there's a little discussion going on here about the camera angle.
Okay.
People can see down into the dishes. They can see the top of the board.
Oh, and they're liking it.
They're liking it. So this is going to change as we go through this video, but that's why I have the camera up high so that when we get over the stove, we can see down into the pan. I am working on a B. It's called a B camera, which will be up here somewhere, just out of your sight, and then some software where I can switch back and forth. That is a work in progress. I don't have a time commitment on that. But yes, I understand.
All these things cost money.
I understand this is a cool camera angle. We're going to be using some more of it.
Yeah.
And then, I don't know, maybe for Father's Day, I'll get that B-roll camera and I can work out the boom and all that. So anyway.
Perfect. That's nice. Well, let's get started.
Okay.
So everything's going well here. So Tom's going to get back behind the camera and then he's going to follow me over to the stove. So if you want to go ahead and get started with that.
Okay. And it's going to be a fairly smooth ride, a little bit of a bump going over there. When we come back, I'm going to be mounting the rig off of the mobile monopod and putting it back on our regular tripod so it doesn't tip over and so you don't all wind up on the floor.
Okay, let's go. I'm ready. Ready.
You ready?
Yes. He's going to get it there and he's going to follow me over to my stove and we're going to get those onions going and we're going to get the mushrooms going and then we'll be dealing with the broccoli as well. So there was like 14 of you waiting when we went on. So you guys were all having conversation together. It was so much fun. I didn't even know you could do that. That is so cool.
Okay, we're mobile.
We're mobile, so we're going to come on over here. I'm just going to set my onions down, grab the broccoli, and we should be good to go. So what I'm using is my Scan pan. That's SCAN PAN. That's going to be too hot for me to hold. I was going to get so that you can see Scan pan. They read it?
Yeah, there it is.
Because when I say it, people are always like, what did you say? And so this is a non-stick pan, but it is ceramic. It is not Teflon. It is a ceramic pan. And so I do have it going. Oh yeah, it's hot. So you just toss some water in there, and if it beads up and starts moving around, then you know it's hot. Now I'm just going to put some onion in here, and I like quite a bit. And if I make too much, if I make more than what will fit in the potato tonight, it's okay because I can heat it up tomorrow and I can use it on another potato. So I'm not too worried. Now, let me tell you, this is a concept. It's a cooking method. And so it's not a precise recipe. So I'm just going to be giving you an idea of how to do this so that you can do this yourself. And how much is going to depend on how many people are you making the stuffed potato for and how full do you want it. So just put in whatever amount of onion seems like the right amount for you. If onion is too strong for you, then you could use a shallot, and shallots are available. They're usually in the grocery store right by the onions and the garlic. And a shallot is kind of a cross between an onion and garlic, but it's very mild and delicious. You could use a sweet onion if you prefer a sweet onion. So I'm just letting these get started, and do you see they are not sticking? Now I do have water here in case they start to stick, but they are not sticking and it smells wonderful. I wish we had smell-o-vision. I love onion and I love garlic. I am not using garlic in this because there is garlic already in the Alfredo sauce, and so I don't feel like it needs to have more garlic. I feel like that would be overpowering. And now I'm going to add mushrooms, and I like a lot of mushrooms, and you know, as they cook, they shrink down. So I'm putting a generous amount of mushrooms in here. Now, this pan is a very expensive pan, and these are made in, is it Denmark, Tom? I think Scandinavian. So in one of the Scandinavian countries, and it's very expensive. But I'll tell you, there is a pan, a Tefal pan, that's available at Costco that's around $20, and it actually does an amazing job. So, and a whole lot less money. And it comes with a lid. So my daughter uses one. I gave one to my son, and I actually have two of them because they're also really great pans. So I'm going to turn my heat up just a little bit. I thought I had it too high when I started. So I'm just going to let these...
What are you sauteing these in?
So I'm just, nothing. I don't have anything. There is no oil because you know we're SOS free, we're oil free, and I don't even have any water in here. Now the natural juices from the onion will start to release, as well as the natural juices that are in the mushrooms. As those start to cook, they're going to release the water that they have, and it should be plenty wet enough. But I do have my water here just in case I need a little, if it starts to look like it's going to stick. So part of the way of making this pan work really well is not to use too high of a heat, and that is a mistake that a lot of people make with their non-stick pans, is they put the heat up too high. Scan pan, the directions that come with it say to use like a medium heat. You shouldn't go above that, and I have found that works really well to keep things cooking, but not so high that they start to stick and burn. So this is looking pretty good. It smells delicious. And of course, you know, you can adjust things accordingly. Use more or less onion, more or less mushrooms. If you don't like mushrooms, you could use like the beautiful sweet peppers if you like those. I mean, this is just an idea. Recipes, you guys, are just an idea. They should just spark your interest. You don't have to follow them exactly. You can change them up according to what your taste preferences are. And that's the beauty of cooking, especially plant-based, because we don't have a lot of rules. We can combine whatever sounds good. And I just love that. Now, when you're baking, you do have to pay better attention to the ingredients, because that's all balancing out, and that's chemistry and how to make things rise and all of that. But cooking is different, and you can just wing it. Now, you'll see I'm getting a little bit of caramelization going on these onions. They're getting a little bit brown, and I love that because that's going to add a lot of flavor to this. And you can see that a little bit of liquid is coming out. I don't know if you can get in on that close or not, Tom, but see how the mushrooms, a little bit of the liquid's coming out of the mushrooms. And that's just enough moisture to make this saute without sticking to the pan. Now this is a Tovolo spatula that I absolutely love. These silicone spatulas, I've given these to all of my girlfriends. And my friend Lorna told me at Christmas time, because I gave her one last year for Christmas, and she said, I cannot cook without that anymore. So it can withstand the heat. We use these for everything. I think we have about 4 of them now, because whenever we're cooking, Tom wants to use one and I want to use one. And so we have multiple of them. They also come in different sizes, and we have these on our Amazon page. So if you haven't checked out our Amazon page, we have a link to that down below the video. You know where it says see more? If you click on that, that's where the links will be. And we have an Amazon page with all of our favorite things on there that we like to use in the kitchen, stuff that we like to take hiking, and there's even a few fun things for the grandkids listed there as well. Okay, so you guys, this is looking really good. And so now I'm actually ready to put my broccoli in there. I'm just going to clear off the little bit of onion that was stuck there. And now I have broccoli. If you don't like broccoli, I have also done this with baby kale, or baby spinach, or I like to buy that, I think it's called Super Greens, that comes from Costco, and it works really well with that also. Now I'm just going to put the lid on, and it's going to steam for me right here in the pan. I don't have to dirty another pan. You can see already that the lid is starting to fog up, and so all that steam is being captured in there, and it's going to steam the broccoli for me. Now, what I would normally do if I was heating up the sauce is now is when I would be putting it in the microwave and heating it up for about a minute or a minute and 30 seconds, depending on how much I have. And if your microwave is really powerful, don't use the setting for 10. Maybe use like 6 or 7. It's a more gentle heat, and it won't zap the sauce and, you know, make it too overdone for you. So, you know, people forget that you can adjust the cooking level on the microwave, and that can make a big difference. And we do use a microwave for reheating because we batch cook and cook up our food mostly for the whole week, and at least for, you know, Monday through Friday, to get us through Monday through Friday. And so we use the microwave to reheat our food. And Dr. Greger has read all of the scientific studies on nutritionfacts.org. You can go on there and look at his thoughts about microwave, and just know that it's not his opinion that he gives on nutritionfacts.org. It is the science. So he reads all of the scientific journals all year long, him and his staff, to come up with the best information for us. So microwave is perfectly safe. You can also use your Instant Pot. There is a pot in pot method. So you put water in the bottom, then put your leftovers in some smaller containers, and you can stack them and then heat them up. I've never actually done it myself, but I've been told that it works beautifully. And if you Google it, you can probably find a YouTube video showing you how to do that. Now, since nobody's moderating right now over on the blog, I'm just going to give this a little toss here, make sure everything's looking good. It's still looking good. We will do Q&A when Tom gets done filming this part and we move back over to plate it. Then he'll get back on the computer. And so if you have questions for us, we'll take your questions. If you could make it, if you're going to post a question, if you could start out with 4 question marks, then do your question, and then another 4 question marks at the end, that makes your questions pop out on the comment feed and makes it easier for him to spot them. So if you could do that, that would be awesome. And oh, this smells so good. Now, this is one of my favorite meals. I actually, if I'm really, really hungry, I actually prefer having it over the potato, over the, instead of the zucchini noodles, just because the potato is so much more filling. If I'm not that hungry, then I'll make the zucchini noodles. Or if you're in weight loss mode, maybe you want to do the zucchini noodles for one meal just to cut back on your calorie consumption. So, but those are good too. So this is almost done, and then I'm going to show you how I plate it up. And I went to Whole Foods a little while ago because I needed some fresh basil. Guess what they were sold out of? Fresh basil today. They have never been sold out of fresh basil. So I had to leave there and go to another store to find my basil. It was crazy. But I did make it home in time to get the potatoes in the oven so we could get ready for this video. Okay, this is looking good. Look at how beautiful. It is not overdone. The broccoli, as you can see, is just perfect. It's beautiful. We buy those big bags of broccoli that are already cut up and ready to go at Costco, and they always have just a little bit of yellow on some of them. So, and here we go. And you can see the onions are coming up. They're not burnt on. They're nice and caramelized, and this smells delicious. So Tom, we're going to move back over there. I'm just going to check my handles, make sure I can transfer this. And so Tom's going to pick that up and follow me back over to the island, you guys. And it'll be a little bit rocky here. Don't worry, although we're in Northern California, this is not an earthquake. This is just Tom moving the camera. So we'll let him, are you going to stay there
you want
for
me
a
to stay
minute?
here while you're plating
Okay,
it?
perfect. Okay, so this is a russet potato, and you know, average size russet. I don't know how many ounces this is. Maybe it's 8 or 10 ounces, I suppose. This is the size I like to stuff. Sometimes if I don't have russets on hand, I'll just go ahead and use my Yukon Gold potatoes, but I'll usually have to use 2 of them because they're usually about half of this size. So what I do is I just like to slice it in the middle, give it a nice slice, and then just kind of push it, you know, so it pops open. That's kind of how they do them, you know, in the restaurants, to make them all pretty like that when they serve them up to you. And I'm just going to pull it apart just a little bit more because I have a lot of stuffing here that I want to put in. And so then I just start filling it. And again, you know, you use as much as you want. And you guys, if you've followed me for very long, you know that I have a really big appetite. And the beauty of eating a whole food plant-based diet is that you can have large quantities because this is all very low calorie density food. And so we can have a lot of it. I'm going to go ahead and put a little extra on the plate because I can. Mm-hmm. Isn't that yummy? Oh, this is smelling so good. We're almost going to regret that we're not eating at home tonight, Tom. Okay, and then what I do is I just take this and pour it over the top. Look at that. This is so delicious. And it's equally as tasty if you use kale or spinach or the power greens. Or if you just want to steam some broccoli and put some of this over the broccoli. Oh, and you know what? Before you start, you can also put a ladle of it on the potato itself and then put the stuff. But I forgot to do that. But that's super delicious to do it that way too. I'm going to move this out of the way, Tom. And then I'm just going to show you, I like to put a little bit of fresh basil on there. So this is the fresh basil that it took me 2 grocery stores to get. So I've already rinsed them, dried them, and now I have them stacked. And so I'm just going to roll them up.
I'm coming in close.
Okay, and then I'm just going to use my knife. This is my chef's knife, the Wusthof chef's knife. We do have this on the Amazon page. This is my favorite kitchen tool, and I use it every day, and it just does a beautiful job. So do you see? Now I have nice little shreds of fresh basil. And so I'm just going to put that over the top. If I don't have fresh basil, then I just use a little bit of dry basil and sprinkle it over the top. It just gives you that little boost of flavor, which is delicious. Then if you want, you can use like a faux Parmesan. I'll be posting my version of this. This is actually, I started with Chef AJ's version, which is oats, equal amounts of oats and nutritional yeast, but then I add seasoning to it just to boost the flavor, and it's really delicious. Let me show you what it looks like. So it really has a very similar look to grated Parmesan, but this is a faux vegan one that is nut-free and low-fat. Really delicious. And so you could take and sprinkle a little bit of that over the top of it as well. So now Tom's going to transfer the camera and come back around to the computer, and we're going to see if you guys have any questions for us. What? Yeah, people are talking about Chef AJ's book, Secrets to Ultimate Weight Loss, is a wonderful book for weight loss. It is, and it's full of recipes. It has like 117 recipes that are absolutely amazing and ones that we use all the time in addition to the ones that I have come up with. Rithvik says, it looks like a delicious meal, guys. Thanks for showing us how to make it. Tammy, you are so welcome. Okay, so let's go back up. You want to go back up and see
now
if there's any questions?
That little shaky footage, that's exclusive footage, because after this is done later tonight or tomorrow morning, I'll be editing all of that out. So that's a bonus for being here live to see, to shake, rattle, and roll.
That's like that's like a bloopers. like a bloopers. We'll see
Yeah.
if anybody has any. Vancouver, Washington. We've got people here from everywhere. Oh, somebody asked the other day, can you do a shorter video? Well, guess what? This is going to be a much shorter video.
Hello, Judy from Australia. I hope you're doing well down there and have air to breathe. I hope the fires are going better.
Santa Cruz. Oh, I bet the weather's beautiful in Santa Cruz.
Our neighbors in Shingletown. I'm looking for question marks.
Any questions? Doesn't look like anybody had any questions. Yeah, somebody's asking where we got our pan. We got our pan from Sur La Table because it was a special one that was made just for them.
At the time,
At the time, but now we do have one on our Amazon page. And this is a 5.5 quart, which I really love because it holds a lot. And so, you know, I can do a stir fry in there with tons of vegetables and just really love it.
There's people giving testimony to liking the spatula.
Yeah, oh, good,
Okay.
good. If you've ordered it and
Okay.
use it, that's
Okay.
awesome.
Okay, here's a question I'm gonna.
Somebody said they lost the video, but it must have just been them because only one person said that.
Yeah, let's skip to the bottom. Okay.
Okay, so the recipe for the Alfredo sauce is on the blog, so at Nutmeg Notebook, and Tom is going to you put a link to it. Also, we have a YouTube video showing you how to make it. So those are the two sources where to get the recipe for the Alfredo. On the blog, Nutmeg Notebook, look for the vegan Alfredo sauce and also a YouTube video. And when you click on see more underneath the video, then Tom has posted links there.
So LK is asking about the selenium. Has anyone been tested for selenium on the whole food plant-based diet? If any of you have an answer to that, feel free to jump in. We did have that come from one of the doctor lectures. Was it Dr. Greger? Someone suggested one Brazil nut.
Yeah, Dr. Greger says if you eat one a week, that you should be fine.
So we've tried to develop the habit of taking our B12 weekly tablet and our Brazil nut on Sunday mornings.
And we usually forget the Brazil nut.
And so, yeah, we need to do better.
We keep them in the freezer so that we won't overeat on them, and then we forget. Out of sight, out of mind. So
you get one a week.
Yes, the Alfredo sauce is delicious on potatoes. So in fact, when I batch prep this, I'm usually making the Yukon Gold potatoes at the same time. And so my treat at the end of batch cooking is to take a freshly baked Yukon Gold potato, a little one, and that's still warm, and dip it in the Alfredo sauce. That's my treat at the end of batch cooking, and I love it. It's so delicious, and it would be great on the smashed potatoes as well.
Lisa's asking about making the Alfredo sauce in a regular blender as opposed to the high speed.
You know, it should be fine. Because the cauliflower is going to already be steamed, and so it's going to be very easy to puree it. And so absolutely, you can make it in a regular blender. You will not need a high-powered blender to make this because it doesn't have any nuts in it. And everything is already steamed because you put everything in the pressure cooker and steam it. And if you don't have a pressure cooker, you can just steam it in a pot on the stove. You could put it in a microwave-safe container and you could microwave it. You just want that cauliflower to be nice and cooked and soft, as well as the garlic. And then we also use the water that it cooked in to be a part of the sauce. So very easy to make. Yes.
Okay, I want you to think about the short answer to this question. Did you have plateaus when you were doing weight loss?
You know, I cannot say that I had plateaus, but my weight loss was really slow. And I can't even tell you, I don't remember how long it took me to lose the weight because I wasn't like really keeping track of it, nitpicky type. In fact, John Pierre, who is Chef AJ's partner for the Ultimate Weight Loss Program, had us put our scales away. So I actually gave it to Tom for 3 months and he hid it someplace, which to this day, I still don't know where his hiding place was. And so I wasn't weighing myself constantly either. So I know though I'm hypothyroid and other people who started the program at the same time that I did, they were losing, 2-3 pounds a week. And I know I wasn't losing that fast, but I was okay with it because I had very calm and stable brain chemistry. And I was so tickled to be able to eat starch and still be able to lose weight and not have to count points or calories or weigh my food. And so I just know it took me, quite a while. It may have taken me 6 months to lose the weight, but I have been maintaining it ever since. So, I have like a 5-pound fluctuation, which is just like perfectly normal. And I stay within that and am very happy. How'd I do?
That was really good.
Thank you.
Christy Willia is asking, how do we decide what we're going to eat each? That's hard to say.
Eat each
what are we
week?
going to eat each week? I would probably send you back to, was it last week's live? We talked about what we eat in a day. There's a lot of discussion in last week's video about how we meal plan and how we keep it simple, and it's actually pretty consistent and not complicated. And I think that would be a good video for you to watch, because that's at least an hour-long conversation.
Well, but a lot of that was about the food that we were showing that day. So let me just tell you this, that we've pretty much automated how we eat. So Tom eats the same oats, the same thing every morning for breakfast. And I don't eat breakfast at the same time that he does. My first meal of the day is lunch. And we both have one meal a day is a great big, beautiful chopped salad. And so that takes a lot of the meal planning out of what are we going to be making this week, because we know exactly what Tom's having for breakfast every day. We know that my lunch every day is a chopped salad, and we know that his dinner every day is going to be a salad, unless we, are going out to eat or entertaining. And so that means that we only have 7 meals that are not accounted for. And so we just always have starch ready, beans, and greens on hand. Plus, we batch cook. Whenever we make something, we make more than we can eat for that day or for that week, and we freeze some of it. So we always have some things in the freezer. So just when I was batch cooking for this week, I thought, haven't had Alfredo sauce for a couple of weeks. I think I'll make Alfredo sauce. And so then I know that I'm going to be eating that this week and maybe sharing some with Tom. So, but yes, go back and watch last week's video on what we eat in a day, and that will really help you.
R. Montgomery's asking about the Tefal frying pan. Is it ceramic coating? The Tefal is not. You have to get into the scan pans, and there's several types of those to get into those other coatings. The Tefal is...
Should I grab it?
Is a... no, they're just asking if it's
okay.
ceramic coated. The coatings today, 2 things. You don't want to run them on high heat, any of them really. Mm-hmm. And the ones that are sold today are, I may have my acronyms reversed here, they're PTFE free. That was the bad stuff that's used to make the, and these are stand for, parafluorocarbon, whatever, PFOA coating. So the bad stuff is no longer left in the coatings that are being delivered on modern products. Mm-hmm. It may still be used in the manufacturing process, but somehow is completely removed to make these safe if used according to directions. So the one we use every day, we did go with ceramic. The Tefals we use occasionally. So let's see, there was another question coming up here. Some people are
Christine is making her salad. Yay, way to go.
Who's going to eat that yummy potato? There is only one. You cooked more than one potato, right?
Yeah, I cooked several, but actually we're eating out tonight. We're going to a vegan Asian restaurant
so that's
to hear a local lecturer.
Lunch tomorrow.
And so this will probably be my dinner tomorrow night.
Okay.
So that's why I didn't heat up the Alfredo sauce. That's why I just poured it over it cold. So I wanted you guys to see it, how it looks and how we do it. But I will just put a lid over the top of this and save it for tomorrow.
That's another great thing about plant-based products, because someone mentioned about when you were in the pan on the feed, that cleanup is so much easier on a plant-based diet.
It is.
And in keeping with that, refrigerating that until tomorrow, it doesn't turn into something else, because it's all plant-based products, and so it doesn't go through chemical alterations or
yeah, it'll be
fat or
perfect.
anything.
So, and Tom, if we were staying home, Tom would be having a chopped salad tonight because he hasn't had his salad yet, and I had mine for lunch. But we're going to an Asian restaurant where we're going to get a really nice. They have an oil-free menu. They also have a gluten-free menu. So I will be able to get something delicious.
How does this freeze?
I have never frozen it, so I can't answer that. I would say, you know, freeze a small portion of it and then see how it does. And if you do that, let me know so that I will know. But I have never tried freezing it because it's so good, I'll eat the whole thing this week.
Julie can't get a bowl to Australia. It costs way too much to get it
Wow.
there. That's
well,
too
if
bad.
anybody
Keep your eyes open.
If anybody goes to Australia on a holiday, take Julie a wood bowl. Julie can send you the money, and you can bring a bowl for her. If we ever get there, Julie, we'll bring a bowl.
Sandra's asking about, is almond milk okay? We do use almond milk from 365, unsweetened, unflavored, plain almond milk.
There are some out there that are just water and almonds with no added anything. So I would look for one of those, or you can make your own. You can actually, you don't even have to buy the almonds and do the milk bag and all that. You can make it with almond butter. So you would want organic, raw, raw, organic almond butter. And you can just mix that with water in your blender. And I think it's like a tablespoon of the almond butter to 3 cups of water. But, you know, look online to double check me on this. And in a pinch, I have made that when I'm making something and have run out of almond milk. And so you can do that. And then you know you don't have any additives. So
Rithvik is confirming that I had my acronyms reversed.
Okay.
So
Thank you.
They're PFO free, which is what they need to be, but they have the
PTFE
to give them the nonstick. I've read lots of articles on that, deep scientific articles to see where we are on that, and it all kind of leads back to if used properly, we're fine with the current products.
Someone wants to know if I've ever made my own nutritional yeast. I have
Sandra.
not. You'll see on our Amazon page that we use the Sari brand. And so look on our Amazon page, and that's the one that we like. It's unfortified, and it has the best flavor of any of them that I have tasted. And believe it or not, from brand to brand, the flavor does taste different, and it tastes really good. And we buy a big bag of it because the larger bag is a better price. And so we prefer that one. We don't use a lot of it, but we do use it. A little bit goes in the Alfredo sauce, and a little bit of it goes in the vegan cheese sauce that is also on the blog and also in our Mexican Fiesta cooking webinar. We get questions a lot about if we have a cookbook yet or not. We do not yet. That's on our list of things that we want to do. But we do have a Mexican Fiesta cooking webinar that you can buy. And if you go to the blog and click on shop, it'll take you to our shop page, and you can see it there. And it has 10 recipes, and I show you how to make all 10 recipes. And they're wonderful for serving up a beautiful buffet for Super Bowl or Valentine's Day, or we've even done it for at Christmas, not Christmas Day, but for Christmas, the holiday time, to have friends over.
Jamie was asking if frozen broccoli would work. You know,
sure, you could use frozen broccoli.
It's going to be a different texture. This still has some bite to it because it's fresh steamed.
But yes, if you like frozen broccoli, you could do that. You could use cauliflower. You could use the California mix, the broccoli, cauliflower, and carrots. You could, any kind of vegetables that you like. It would be so awesome.
Okay, I think.
Did I add any different spices to the potato? If you're talking about, did I add anything to this potato? No. And I didn't add any seasonings to the onion, mushroom, and broccoli because the Alfredo
it's pretty tasty.
Has enough.
Has a lot of flavor.
And it has optional red pepper flakes in it, and I use the full amount of red pepper flakes in it, so it has a lot of flavor. And then with the fresh basil, it's like perfect. So When losing weight on a whole food, plant-based, SOS-free lifestyle, do we need to count calories or measure foods as long as we are staying away from nuts and avocado? We do not need to count calories or measure your foods. So in the Chef AJ's Ultimate Weight Loss Program, it's a calorie density based program and a starch based program. So what that means is on the calorie density chart, which if you Google calorie density chart, it will come up to you. And we stay at 600 calories or less per pound of food. And doing that, you don't need to weigh or measure out your food because it eliminates the high fat foods. Now, tofu is to the left of that line, of that 600 calorie line, and we don't recommend for our clients when we're working with people who are trying to lose weight, we do not recommend that they eat tofu or any tofu products during the weight loss phase because of the higher fat content. We also avoid avocados, nuts, seeds, and then of course we call it the sofas. So we don't do salt, oil, flour, sugar, or alcohol. And that keeps your calorie density low, 600 calories or less, and then you get to eat as much from the beautiful plant buffet as you wish.
All the potatoes and beans and
until
rice
you are,
and corn.
Until you are comfortably
full.
full. Now that is the secret because, you know, if people are binging on potatoes or eating, you know, tons of more food to the point of being uncomfortably full, then that's not healthy and that's not good. So we eat until we are comfortably full and we do not have to count anything.
Susan Johnson's commenting the oats are not in the Alfredo sauce directions.
Well, you put them in the blender. I'll have to go back and look at it and see if I didn't include them in the directions.
Okay.
But if they're on there, just, you know, toss them in. Or watch the video and see what I did in the video. Nobody has said that, so I'll have to go back and look at that. Someone's asking, do we have a weight loss program? Tom and I are certified educational instructors for Chef AJ's Ultimate Weight Loss Program. And so we do an in-person program here in the Sacramento, California area. And we just finished with our January class, and we don't have another class scheduled right now, but it is just for local people. If you want to do something online, Chef AJ has a wonderful online program that is called Feel Fabulous Over 40, and you can try it for 2 weeks for absolutely free, and you get to try, you know, sample everything, all of the resources that they have, and they have menu planning, and there's the information vault where you can put in a question, and any video where she has addressed that question, it will come up for you to review, and it goes right to the spot where she's talking about the question you asked about. It's an amazing online program. So I encourage everyone to give it a try for 2 weeks and see what you think. And if you still like it at the end of the 2 weeks, you can go on and either purchase a monthly subscription or purchase a yearly subscription to it, and it's absolutely amazing. And if you live in the Sacramento, California area, then follow us on Facebook, follow the blog, because as we decide on dates for new classes, we will be posting those in those 2 places.
Jen Diana is asking about the mats we use in the air fryer to keep food from sticking to the mesh racks. Those are actually a silicone mat, not a Teflon mat. So
is that, she's talking about these for the air fryer?
Yeah, the mesh mats, and we have them on our Amazon page. They're listed as grill mesh mats.
This is still a little bit warm from the potatoes.
And I cut these to size in here. So this really helps, especially with the sweet potatoes that Tami likes to air fry. They can ooze a bit of goo during the air frying, and throw that in the sink and let it soak for a bit. And it comes right out. That one's been used quite a few times, and it's looking fine.
And they're bigger than these racks, and so Tom just cut these to fit, and they work out great for us.
Okay. Luann is saying, what happens when you don't have a cutoff switch? If it's on the plate, I eat it. That would be kind of sequencing, eat the vegetables first and then the
Yes.
starches and
So-
then the legumes.
So what Tom's talking about is to sequence your eating. So if you have trouble figuring out when you're full, and a lot of people do, so you're not alone. So we suggest that people do what's called sequencing. So what you would do is you would start your meal with the lowest calorie density item, which would be raw vegetables. So you could start with a salad, and then we suggest steamed vegetables. So either a raw salad or steamed vegetables. Start with those first, because what those do is they start to fill your tummy up. We have stretch receptors in the tummy that need to be activated so that we start to feel full, so that the stomach will send a message to the brain that, hey, we're full. So what you want to do is you want to fill up on the lowest calorie density foods first. So start with either raw vegetables or steamed vegetables first, and then you will have less room for the more calorically dense foods like the starch. So for like before eating this, then you would either want to have a raw veggie salad, you could have a green salad, or a big plate full of cooked non-starchy vegetables. And then you would have less room for the starch, which is going to be more calorically dense. And that's called sequencing. And that really helps people to not overeat. And then maybe take a smaller portion, eat slower, slow down your eating. We know that it takes 20 minutes from the time that we start eating before the brain is going to get a signal that we are full. And so slow down your eating, maybe take a smaller portion. And when you get done eating, before you go, when you're done eating that smaller portion, before you move on to going and having seconds, you have a pause and you stop and you think, am I really still hungry or am I full? If you think you want seconds, instead of going for the higher calorie density foods, then you start sequencing again, and you have either the raw non-starchy vegetables or you have steamed non-starchy vegetables. And I bet you won't go back and have more starch after that. So try that. Try sequencing.
The potato, there was a question about how the potatoes cook 400 degrees for...
These were about an hour and 15 minutes because they were pretty good size. And if you look at our video all about potatoes, I go through and show you exactly what we do to cook our potatoes. And that was a live video that we did on July 23rd. And it's called All About Potatoes.
Yeah,
and I think you
Mark was asking how that potato was looking so perfect.
Oh.
It was
wow.
selected. It was probably the best of the litter coming out of the oven.
Well, all of them looked that good, actually. All four of them. Because I picked out really nice potatoes. Yeah. And they looked great today. And in fact, they were so fresh. The produce man had just put them out. I had to wait for him to finish the pile.
It's luck of the draw. Sometimes we get there if it's later in the day, and like the Japanese sweet potato pile has been ransacked, and we're trying to pick out the least worst ones covered with mud and whatnot. We have to scrub them.
These looked great today.
So Suzanne is mentioning here, this sounds good, the Alfredo sauce over oat groats.
Yes, that would be delicious.
A pile of oat groats with this, that would be amazing.
And some people love it over brown rice. They like to take their brown rice and then some steamed vegetables on top of the brown rice, and then the Alfredo sauce on top of that. There's so many ways that you can use this sauce. I mean, I think it could also be used to kind of make like something similar to scallop potatoes too. So I have an idea brewing in my head about that as well.
Regina is asking if we don't eat nuts, how do we get our omegas, EPA and DHA? We get those from other foods. We do have a limited amount of nuts. We don't eat handfuls of nuts. Sometimes I'll eat something that has nuts in it. I'm adding chia seed, flax seed, which is more on the protein side, and ground golden flax seed to my morning oats every day. So I'm getting several tablespoons of those omega-3, omega-6 items every day.
SB says, we're all adults here. Can you call it a stomach? Well, you know,
what were you talking about?
I said our tummies. I'm not offended by calling it a tummy.
I call mine a stomach and she calls hers a tummy.
Yeah, that's what I always call it. And you have to remember, I'm usually dealing with our grandkids, so I'm used to saying tummy, you know. Is your tummy full?
Tummy full, okay.
Okay, so Goose Joe says this way of eating works for weight loss. I started for health reasons and ended up losing 54 pounds. Awesome, that is great. And that's exactly what happens. So, and also I think if you concentrate on changing your habits and creating healthy habits, the weight loss is just a wonderful byproduct of doing that.
Barb's saying that this was going to be a shorter video. Well, right now, anything an hour and 50 minutes or less is shorter.
Short for us.
But we need to close this down at 1 hour because we have a commitment to go to. So we're down to the last few minutes here.
Yeah, Pam, I don't know. Pam says, I started whole food plant-based diet 3 weeks ago and this week have started experiencing lightheadedness. Any reason or what I am missing in my diet?
Starch.
Yeah, I don't know what you're eating, so I can't answer that. But certainly if you're having medical issues, I would consult a doctor and rule out anything else. It may or may not have anything to do with your diet. It could be absolutely a coincidence. But so I would want to get checked out and make sure, as long as you're eating enough calories that you feel good and you are able to do all the activities that you want, there usually isn't a problem with the amount of food that you're eating. And so I would want to have that checked. You know, are you drinking enough water? Is it because you're dehydrated? I mean, there's so many things that can cause lightheadedness that I would definitely get it checked out.
How long does the Alfredo last in the fridge?
You know, I've kept it for a week and it's been fine. So, you know, a lot's going to depend on your refrigerator. Do you have it at the right temperature? You know, you have to remember that everything is going to change depending on what your circumstances are. But I have kept it in our refrigerator for a week, no problem.
Okay.
Yeah, so if you weren't here at the beginning and didn't see how I made it, when we're done here, there will be a replay, and watch the replay and you'll get to see exactly how I made it because I went through all the steps on how to make it. So I think we're done.
I think we're caught up. So we're at
Awesome.
52 minutes. So this is going to be
This is
well,
good for us.
For a while, it's a record. So.
Yeah. Well, and here's the thing. We like to be thorough, and when we're on, we want to interact with the people that are watching, and we want to answer your questions if we can, and that's why our videos
Sometimes
are a
we
little
let it
bit
run.
longer.
Yeah.
And sometimes we let it run a little bit
Yeah, and you don't have to
longer.
watch them all at once. You can watch a half an hour and then come back and catch the other half hour the next day or whatever.
I mean, somebody told me they watch it in 15-minute increments because that's what works for them. And so they'll pause it, and then the next time they come back, they'll just fast forward to the 15-minute mark and then watch the next 15 minutes.
So if you haven't already done so, give us a little thumbs up thing. That helps boost getting the message of plant-based out to more folks that are cruising around on YouTube.
The more thumbs up that we get, the better ratings we get with YouTube, and the more likely they are to suggest our video to people who have looked at other whole food plant-based videos. Also, if you haven't subscribed yet, subscribe to the channel and then click on that bell icon, because when you do that, that's how you get notifications when we're going live, or if we have put a new video up. Also, we have a new blog post up. It's all about entertaining people, and I have links to recipes. I show you what we were making for our classes. So we had 4 classes in a row. I cooked dinner for 16 people for 4 Saturdays in a row, and I'm doing blog posts showing you what I made and showing you how easy it is to feed people whole food plant-based.
That's 64 extra meals you did in a 21-day period.
Yeah,
that's like 3 extra meals a day on top of your usual 2 and my 3.
So I was batch cooking on Fridays for us for the week, as well as prepping food to feed 16 people every Saturday. So I am sharing those what I did in blog posts because I took photographs and I'm giving you the recipes. So if I can do it for 16 people, you can easily have, 8 or 10 people over and feed them a wonderful whole food plant-based meal. Everybody loved the food, and some of the people were new to whole food plant-based. So they were coming from the standard American diet, and they still thought the food was delicious. And when they ask for the recipes and then they go home and make it that week for themselves, you know that it was a hit. So if you haven't been to the blog, jump over to the blog as well and subscribe, because you'll get 2 exclusive recipes that are just for subscribers. One is a wonderful strawberry balsamic dressing, no oil, no nuts. It's delicious. I also have an Asian version of it, which I made this weekend. And so you'll want to check that out. And then there's a delicious curry ginger butternut squash soup that is also very popular, and people tell us they are making it every week. So that's all we've got for today. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Tami.
And I'm Tom.
And we help you get healthy and stay healthy one meal at a time. Thanks for joining us, you guys. We'll see you next week.